All right, it's Wednesday and it is literacy time. So I'm going to read for you today this story called Animal Characteristics. That is a big, juicy word. And we are going to find out what a characteristic is on this page or in this book. Okay? Animal characteristics. There's the heading. Animals are living things. Animals eat, move, and grow. There are many different types of animals. Some have fur and some have feathers. Some animals live on land and others live in water. This seal lives in water. A characteristic is something that makes one animal different from another. For example, a bird has feathers and wings. These are characteristics of a bird. Okay, so it just kind of told us a characteristic is something that makes an animal different from another animal. So not all animals have wings and feathers, and that's a characteristic of a bird. That's what makes it different. Fur or feathers. Some animals have fur or hair on their bodies. Lions have fur. Having fur is a characteristic of a mammal. A lion is a mammal. Mammals are a group of animals that share certain characteristics. Mammals also feed their young with milk. So that we are actually mammals. Humans are. So we have hair, just like lions. We feed our young milk. And something else is we have live babies. When our babies come out, they are not in an egg. They are born right away and they are alive, okay? They are not growing inside of an egg. So those are some of the characteristics of mammals. That's what makes them different than like a bird who has an egg. Mammals are warm-blooded. That means they can make heat in their bodies. Mammals live all over the world, even in very cold, icy places. Polar bears are mammals that live in cold places. Question: why do polar bears have thick fur? A for answer. Polar bears have thick fur to keep them warm. That's why they can live in those cold places, because they have that thick fur. Some mammals, such as apes, have less hair on their bodies. Apes usually live in warm places. This orangutan is a mammal. Some animals have feathers on their body. Ducks have feathers. Having feathers is a characteristic of a bird. A duck is a bird. Question: why do some birds have long wing feathers? Clue: what can birds do that many other animals can't? Why do they have long wing feathers? Answer: wing feathers help birds fly. Most birds can fly. Birds also have shorter, softer feathers to keep their bodies warm. Feathers can also be used to hide or to show off to other birds. Birds are also warm-blooded. Penguins are birds that live in a cold place. A penguin has thick feathers to help keep it warm. Penguins cannot fly, but they use their wings to swim very fast. Skin or scales. Many animals don't have fur or feathers on their bodies. Snakes and lizards are animals that have dry, scaly skin. Snakes and lizards are reptiles. Dry, scaly skin is a characteristic of a reptile. Fish are covered with tiny, flat plates called scales. And here it shows you these are all their scales. Question: why is this lizard lying in the sun? Clue: what does sunshine feel like on your skin? Answer: this lizard needs to warm its body in the sun so it can move. Some animals are cold-blooded. That means their bodies can't make heat. Their bodies are as cold or as hot as the air or water around them. Cold-blooded animals usually live in warm places. Fish are cold-blooded too. Fish scales protect their bodies. The scales are usually smooth and flat, so the fish can move fast in water. Living on land and in water. Animals live on land and in water. Most mammals, birds, and reptiles live on land. All these animals have lungs to breathe oxygen from the air. Fish live in water. Fish have gills to take oxygen from the water. This dolphin is a mammal that lives in water. Question: how do dolphins breathe oxygen from the air? Answer: dolphins swim to the surface to breathe in air. Blowhole. A dolphin takes air into its lungs through a blowhole. The blowhole is on top of its head. The dolphin pushes air out of its blowhole too. Animals called amphibians can live on land and in water. Frogs, toads, and newts are amphibians. Amphibians lay eggs in water. Their young have gills. The adults have lungs. So frogs, toads, and newts, they lay their eggs in the water. That's the first part of their life cycle. And then the next part of their life cycle, when they're born, they're still in the water, like the tadpoles. And then they start to turn into their frogs, which is the next part of the life cycle. And that's when they have lungs and are out of the water. Eggs and babies. Some animals lay eggs. Birds lay eggs with hard shells. Baby birds grow inside the eggs. The babies break out of the shell when they're big enough. Question: do all animals lay eggs? Clue: do lions lay eggs? Does a baby elephant hatch from an egg? We should know the answer to that. Fish lay hundreds of soft eggs in water. Each tiny egg changes and grows into a baby fish. Oh, here's the life cycle right there. Egg, egg fry, fish. No, some animals give birth to live young. Most mammals give birth to their babies. Most mammals make milk in their bodies to feed their young. A kangaroo is a mammal that keeps its young in a pouch in its body. When the baby is first born, it's tiny. It stays in the pouch until it's big enough to move and find food on its own. Other animal groups. There are many other animal groups. One of the biggest groups is insects. Insects have 6 legs and most can fly. Bees, butterflies, beetles, and flies are insects. Spiders, snails, crabs, worms, and jellyfish all belong to different animal groups. Each group has different characteristics. And here is a jellyfish. All right, I have to stop there because I need to tell you about your assignments. You have 2 in Seesaw, and they are both have to do with animal characteristics, okay? So the first one is all about how animals move, because how animals move is a characteristic about them. They could hop, they could fly, they could run, or they could swim. And I have animals pictures down below, and you need to put them under the name of how they move. So a fish would go under the swim pile, okay? So look at those pictures and figure out how they move. The other one is sorting animals by their characteristics on their bodies. Do they have feathers? Do they have fur or hair? Or do they have scales? So if I had a picture of a fish, would you put it under feathers, fur or hair, or scales? A fish would go under scales. So you move the pictures under the correct animal characteristic. All right? Have a great Wednesday.